Hello everyone, welcome to the Solo Gaming Spotlight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're already subbed or a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. I was putting together a top 10 favorite solo games of all time list. And I realized that some of my favorite games may have only gotten 10 or 15 plays, whereas other games have gotten over 100 plays. And I had to really think about this, and I'm like, if I'm playing this game so many more times than this game over here, is this game really my favorite? And so I adapted my list. These are my top 10 favorite solo games that I get to the table with the quickness and I'm up and playing the game. And I've also ranked them in accordance to their gameplay. So if I played a game over 200 times, it's going to be higher up on my list than a game I've only played 30 times. And so to start this game list out, Chronicles of Crime 1400 is number 10 on the list. And it's not because it's, not as good of a game or anything like that. There's only 5 scenarios, one of which is a tutorial. And in this game, you're going to be taking on the role of a knight in the Middle Ages in France. Your character has these prophetic visions that are always tied to crime, and you are tasked with trying to solve them. You're going to go around to different locations, talking to different people, whether they be suspects, victims, bystanders, and questioning them about different people, about different items that you end up having or know about. And you're going to be trying to solve this crime. You're going to be using your companion dog, Percival, that's going to be able to sniff out different scents and help you out by finding different clues in different locations. It's just a really cool game that's going to get your sense of deduction, and for me it just immerses me because of the app. I mean, you get these different scenes that you can just look around and check out a full 360 world view inside the app of what's going on at that location, and then question the people that are at the location about the different items that you see. It's and just try to solve the case. That is my number 10, Chronicles of Crime 1400. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I just happen to like this theme over modern day. Moving on to number 9. At number 9, we have Mage Knight. Just kidding. Don't get me wrong. I do love Mage Knight, but I find myself cheating on her all the time with other games. And it's just due to that setup time. It's not you, Mage Knight. It's me. A game that gives me the flavor of Mage Knight, just a taste of it that I need, is Dragons of Etchinstone. Now, Dragons of Etchinstone, you can play out of the palm of your hand. No self-respecting gamer is going to do that anyway if you have your own gaming table, but you can. In Dragons of Etchinstone, you're going to be taking on one of 4 different dragons. And you're going to be working your way through 4 different regions in the game, playing cards, trying to power them up by playing another card that matches the color on your card, using a booster number on another card, and then leaving a card behind for the next round. As you defeat monsters and the different journeys that you're going to encounter through these regions, you're going to gain experience points and be able to level up your cards. And when you take damage, you're going to have to downgrade and down level your cards. So hopefully by the time you get done the 4 regions of the game and head out onto that final journey to take on that final dragon, you've leveled up enough cards to be able to go ahead and take him out. So that's my number 9, Dragons of Etchinstone. I do have a playthrough on the channel if you want to go check that out and learn how to play. On to number 8, which is Proving Grounds. This is a real-time combat game, and I love the way this game handles multiple opponent combat. You are surrounded on 6 sides, and each enemy is represented by the 1 through 6 on the dice, and you are just rolling, trying to land doubles to hit the opponents. If you're rolling a single, that opponent's hitting you, and the real-time feel to it just makes me feel like I'm playing a video game, in that intensity, especially as the timer is going down. That anxiety and angst, it just fills me. So this game, if you've never checked it out before, check it out. It has 6 different modules, and you can play with none of them, you can play with all of them, or any combination therein. I did do a playthrough of this on the channel to teach you how to play the game. If you want to check that out, go ahead and do so. But that's Proving Grounds, number 8 on my list. Number 7 is a newer addition to my collection, but it has gotten back to my playing table repeatedly and consistently. That is Unbroken. I just love the premise of this game. You awaken from unconsciousness only to discover your party, your friends, slaughtered. And the monsters responsible are still out there. You're determined to make them pay even if it costs you your life. You're going to do this with the only two resources at your disposal, time and effort. You're going to face encounter after encounter, scavenging for food, wood, and metal to try and craft some makeshift weapons, and each step's going to bring you closer to facing the 4 monsters responsible for your friend's deaths. With each victory, you're going to learn a new skill, you're going to gain more resources, they're going to help you take on the next foe. And this coming from scraps to being able to defeat that final encounter is just satisfying. And for me, Unbroken is at number 7. Next on the list is a game I just can't stop playing. I recently picked up 2 expansions for it, and I've already done a playthrough of the base game on the channel. The game I'm talking about is Aventuria. And Aventuria takes aspects from role-playing and ties it into a combat-driven dice and card game complete with skill checks, some narrative, and cool card play as you're trying to play these cards from your hand. But in order to pay for them, you have to sacrifice other cards from your hand that you're going to end up using that turn and in future turns to pay for future cards down the road and various actions, including making attacks and scenario-specific activities. It's just a fantastic game, and I will be doing a playthrough soon of the expansions that I got, which add a random dungeon to the game. If you're interested in watching that video, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you can be notified when that video drops. That is my number 6, Aventuria. We're now moving on to my number 5, which is Mini Rogue. This game is out on my table for quite a while, and it's quick to play as well as get set up. It's a 9-card dungeon delve, and it has you take it on a boss at the end of each of the 4 levels with the final face-off versus Ogg's Remains, and you're trying to claim a ruby gemstone known as Ogg's Blood. This is a very light game that got a lot of plays before it became available on BGA, and now just doesn't see the table time because, well, Board Game Arena just has no setup time, and that's where I play it now. I did back Mini Rogue 2 on Kickstarter, and I'm looking forward to that one coming in. That's my number 5, Mini Rogue. Sitting at number 4 is my only roll and write on this list, and if you're guessing cartographers, you're wrong. I'm talking Paper Dungeons. In Paper Dungeons, you'll be using the dice you roll to move your party of adventurers through a dungeon, exploring rooms, fighting monsters, and collecting treasures while leveling up your heroes. You're going to gain them special abilities, health, and most importantly, glory points. I played this game a ton and went and ordered the side quest expansion. I'll be doing a playthrough of this one on the channel, so you know the deal already. Go ahead and hit that sub button and the bell notification so you'll know when that video drops. That's Paper Dungeons at number 4. Moving on to number 3. This is a game that's a mini solo version of an absolute giant in the board game world. The game is inspired by a title that shattered records, reigning as the number 1 game on Board Game Geek for what felt like an eternity. At number 3, we have Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs. Now, this game boils down the flavor of the card play from the original and gives you the 6 starting characters to play through a 15 scenario campaign. Now, there's a total of 20 missions, but each character has a scenario designed specifically for them. I've done a learn to play and a couple of playthroughs and an unboxing here on the channel, which is by far my most viewed video, and it's not even close. This is Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, coming in at number 3. Now, moving on to number 2. This game is a bit of a cheat because you do need the Ruin of Thandar expansion, as well as the hero packs to play, and I only play it in its digital form now, but I've played 3 games of it while editing this video, so that counts for something, and this is Hero Realms. It's a deck building game where you'll be choosing a class you want to play, like a wizard, a cleric, a ranger, thief, or a fighter. You'll be playing through a campaign book, which is well written, and each scenario has a master card and scenario specific cards that evoke the theme of the scenario as you play it. It's well done, and while deck builders can be kind of vague in general, the Ruins of Thandar campaign is well executed, and each character levels up and you add newer abilities for your characters and different cards you'll add to your deck, making your character stronger and stronger as you play through the campaign. It's kept me coming back for more, making this one of my most played games, and that's why Hero Realms lands solidly at number 2 on my list. Moving on to number 1. No game I've ever come across has seen more plays than my number 1. This is a game that has hit my table over and over and over again. And the crazy thing is I've never even collected comic books or even owned one. That's right, it's Marvel Champions. The card play and sheer fun factor this game delivers with its quick setup time is unmatched by any other game that I own. The theme in each character's deck is fantastic, and it feels like you're stepping right into the shoes of the superhero you're playing. Now, I almost own all of the release content for Marvel Champions, but somehow I keep coming back and whooping up on Rhino, Claw, and Ultron with Spider-Man. He's hands down my favorite. There's just something about the swinging web kick to a villain's face that never gets old. For all those reasons, Marvel Champions takes the top spot on my favorite solo games list, bar none. And that's my top 10 favorite solo games They get to the table with a quickness. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your favorite games? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.